What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Stock Hustle channel with your boy William. Today is Wednesday, December 8th. About 45 minutes to the close of the day. I'm gonna make a quick whales video. I feel like I haven't done one in a minute. Tutorial how to use whales. So I wanted to knock this one out. I found a couple of really bullish plays that I've been tweeting about the last couple of days. So I just wanted to make a helpful video to teach those how to make good decisions when it comes to investing. Again, nothing on the channel is financial advice. It is simply financial education. So I'll be trying to show people you don't have to slave in a 9 to 5. You can easily hustle 24/7 in the market and still be able to accomplish all those financial goals and dreams you have set for yourself, right? As with anything else in life, you're always going to get out whatever you choose to put in. But let's go ahead and put in some work today. So the ticker that we are going to look at today is JMIA, otherwise known as Jumia Technologies, otherwise also known as the Amazon of Africa. First and foremost, this is a German e-commerce company. I was not aware of that until I started doing some DD on Jumia. I thought honestly it was based in Africa since it is the Amazon of Africa, but no, it is actually incorporated out of Berlin, Germany specifically, right? They've been incorporated since 2019, have some financials on them, right? As with any e-commerce company, like you have Coupang out of Korea, any of the other ones worldwide, just like Amazon did when it first started back in the early 2000s, they're struggling to become profitable, but as with time and consumer recognition, their customer base grows, which means their revenue tends to grow along with it, right? I believe it's known that Jeff Bezos told his original investors that for the first 10, 15, or 20 years, they would not be profitable. But then after that, they've gone on to become some of the richest people in the world specifically. But anyways, so this is Jumia Technologies. First and foremost, we did some support and resistance levels. As if you have not known or do not know, go to a 1-week chart specifically, right? Break out your weeks, multiple touch points on a line, gives you support and resistance specifically, right? After doing so, go back to a 1 year, 1 day, and here we are sitting currently on a green day today at up 9.42%, or otherwise $1.26. If you're looking at the RSI, we're essentially approaching neutral, pushing to the upside, and we've just converged on the MACD, forming our first green bar on the histogram, right? So Jumia does have a website you guys can check out. I'll leave it attached in the details below, which is here. Have a lot of important information specifically to like earnings, change, SEC filings, all that good jazz, any of the things that they're doing in specific countries in Africa, right? They have a short 7-minute video if you guys want to check that out. Definitely recommend it. For the purposes of today's video, I'm not going to show it because, again, I want to try to keep the video short. I know you guys prefer shorter videos versus longer videos. Besides, again, it's basically structured just like Amazon. You go on a website, you order your products, they get delivered straight to you. Again, Africa being one of the development countries, as they are advancing more and more technologically, their e-commerce obviously business is going to continue to grow. Getting in early obviously gets you a good position, which is why you can imagine Jumia is structured in a very good way. If we were looking at the chart, ever since essentially, what is this? February this year, they were affected by that pullback or correction we had in the Nasdaq. It did drag them down significantly, all the way down essentially till about May, before they had their first push back to the top side, essentially trying to break out of this trend. But as you see, we were forming lower highs and lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then before we started to reverse that trend. Even after that, though, we were not able to successfully break this lower high that we had previously set. As you see here, we came very, very close, but we did not. So unfortunately, the trend did continue before it started on this consolidation period, essentially from August through, early November. It did get pushed down a little bit. As you do see, it did miss on earnings this last issue. However, it seems to have found a floor, and now these last 3 days has been pushing up to the top side very aggressively. Well, you can also reflect that in the volume. As you see, the volume bars are increasing from the normal average, starting to trend closer to what they were in the latter part of 2020, early part of 2021, if by comparison, right, you're looking at that. But when I went looking specifically and trying to get some DD, I was interested to see, number one, I went to Marketbeat to get some price targets from Smart Money. or alleged smart money, right? Obviously, you see that the low, they have a consensus of $11. Mid would be $14.50. We are currently sitting essentially at $14.68 today, so we are at this average price, and then a high point of 18. You see that there are holds and 1 sell rating specifically on Jumia. At the peak a year ago, we were sitting at 4 holds, 1 buy, 0 sells. Now, don't let that deter you. When you go looking into who owns Jumia, right? Specifically, we can go and take a quick peek. I was actually interested to see some of the players that we had involved in Jumia, which, first and foremost, pay attention to this. More buys than sells is always important anytime you're looking at a company, but specifically, when I went looking, 0.72, Mr. Cohen, was involved, and also the favorite that I look for, Renaissance Technologies, was also involved in this play. Those are two very bullish signs that I always look for. I want to know who in institutions is actually buying or specifically holding a company. Aside from that, I always like to show you guys short positions. Jumia is no exception to this. It does have specific short positions. To be specific, it is at 20.42% of free float, which is dramatically high, right? But again, the other bullish sign that I saw that piqued my interest was to see shorts exiting positions. So if we go to shares shorted current, right, we see that Citadel Advisors has reduced their position in Jumia 18%. Anytime I see shit in a box reduce a position in short, that to me is a very bullish sign, right? Kenny, for as much as we hate him, isn't as dumb as he looks in most cases. Anytime he is reducing a position, I take that as a bullish sign, in my opinion, because it means he essentially senses or perceives a bullish trend coming in a potential. Again, it could signify that, it could not. It could just be taking profits in some cases, right? But in either case, they did reduce their position by 17.4%. You have Jane Street also reducing by 19.7%, and then you have two hedge funds actually exiting their positions altogether. Now, one wasn't significant, however, one was of significant size specifically, right? But again, it's good to know who is shorting what and what positions are being held against any company you are ever interested in, right? So let's go ahead and jump into my favorite part of the video, which is unusual whales, right? Specifically, the way I found Jumia was going through the alerts. Going in through the alerts for today, I found Jumia here. As you see, it did alert for a 1550 call for 12:10 expiration, which is this Friday. You see that this did alert at 11:06 a.m. You see that there is open interest of 661 contracts actively open, with 3,978 contracts traded essentially today. You have the bid and ask. You see at 23 cents. Going into the flow specifically to be more targeted, JMIA ticker have $25,000 premium preset, bid ask turned on, calls puts turned on, and only single leg. So these last couple of days I haven't been making videos because I've been trying a couple different strategies, right, and testing them out for success. I was able to find a couple really successful trades. If you saw my Twitter, RTX was one. I tweeted about another one, Devon Energy, earlier. ARK-K was another one that I tweeted about, specifically trying these new strategies. So Jumia is no exception to that. Going through here and going in through the flow, we can pay attention real quick to see a couple of things, right? As you see the ticker, you see a buy call for the $15 strike. This one expiring May 28th. However, you have this one, for example, here for December 17th, December 17th, December 17th, and check out the amounts: 26,000, 72,000, 69,000. Right, so they're relatively close to expiration, essentially a week and a half out, or a week and 2 days out, right? Which, number one, piqued my attention. Excuse me. As you see, they were paying the ask or slapping the ask price on these, which again is a very bullish sign anytime you see that specifically. But additionally, I don't know if some of you guys have noticed or have not noticed, I always like to point out at the top over here on the top right corner, you see this bullish premium 6.69 million compared to bearish premium at 2.71 million, right? Essentially, this is giving you a consensus total for the flow, letting you know that it is more bullish than it is bearish. The other really cool feature that I like that Whales recently did was they added this quick view button, which is super handy when you need it, right? If you just want to take a quick peek at the flow and you don't necessarily want to break it down, well, at the top it gives you the top 5 chains by volume. As we see, December 17th calls, and December 10th call for 14, right? Now take a look at the volume versus open interest, giving you a nice little breakdown comparison so that you can see that the volume is spiking over open interest, which is always especially good to see. The next part I always like to look at is specifically the flows for the day, right? So it breaks it down by premium. You have 5,000, 15, 30, and then 200,000. As you guys can see, there is a consensus on the bullish side for today's trading, essentially trending at above 84% for all categories, with the largest trending at 100%. Going a little bit further, premium by expiration as of 12/8. What do we see? That 12/10, you have call premium 1.55 million, put premium 359,000, so that's a pretty big disparity. You see the next week you have 4.65 million only compared to 314,000, right? Again, another very big disparity there. But when you go look at this side, right, the totals, this is the part I like to pay attention the most, right? Because I know some of you guys get confused with a sold call or a sold put, and if it's bullish or if it's bearish, right? This is a really easy way for you to figure out what the flow is saying, right? Bullish premium compared to bearish premium. It's just going to give you a total, but the total tells you a lot of information in itself, right? You have 1.3 million at 53% bullish premium compared to only 46% bearish premium with 879,000, right? That's pretty good. I mean, that's a little bit leaning towards the bullish, right? In a way, right? By what is that? 7% leaning to the bullish. But look at the next week. You have 4.21 million at 84.76% bullish compared to only 756,000 or otherwise 15% to the bearish. This is what actually piqued my attention specifically, right? And then down below, obviously, you have some dark pool trades. Again, I don't really delve into that too much. I am trying to learn following Dark Pool Wizard. If you haven't checked him out, I definitely encourage you to check out some of his lectures or just two trades. I think is where he relatively lives in that Discord. Where very, very, very resourceful guy. Definitely recommend if you're trying to look dark pool to hit him up, because he will most certainly teach you a lot. But going into the flow and breaking down the charts as we see here, we see the peak on November 19th, second peak being December 17th, which is not this Friday, but next Friday, right? And then obviously January 2022, and then the furthest January 2023. But on this 12/17, this obviously caught my interest, and what also caught my interest is that it is very bullish specifically for this $20 strike. So I will be a player in this. I'm already watching essentially Jumia, because again, I do see it as very bullish. The flow to me caught my attention. Obviously, trending at 80% bullish premium to one side for next week's expiration. Obviously, it is very interesting to me. Specifically, looking at the chart, seeing that we have just basically broken over the support. The next resistance would be 1854. This is a good entry point for me, right? You would essentially want to enter a position relatively close to this support, with a stop essentially just a little bit below this point of resistance here, just to be safe, giving you a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio specifically, right? As I've said before, it's always good to have an entry and an exit strategy with any trade that you make. So again, to me, this is a relatively low risk because again, we're sitting at a support. Setting a stop just below that will protect your essentially equity for the most part, and the top side gives you plenty of reward. If we were to hit that 20, essentially you're looking at a potential gain, which we can draw a quick line to measure that. What is that? A 35% increase essentially, give or take, couple cents here or there, right? But again, if you guys have questions, as always, leave it down in the comments below. Don't forget, you can always hit me up on Twitter or IG. And if you found value in the video, give me a like and a subscribe. Otherwise, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.